Well, welcome everybody. Today is Halloween in the United States. Blessed Samhain to all of you who honor that ancient holiday, not holiday, commemorative event. One of the things that I was interested in talking about, I think, is kind of what drives us as human beings and all the factors that we have to remember when we decide to be the best that we can be, when we strive for that. But what are we considering really? What's this larger fields that we operate within? And we operate, first of all, or we live or we do our thing in a society, particular society. So what is considered to be the way to be or to act or to do is different, even in different parts of the United States, in different parts of the world. What is acceptable behavior, or what you have been taught to be, how you should act. How should mom or a girl be? How should a boy or a dad be? These are rules that are taught to us in the early part of our lives to help us adapt to this world. Sometimes it's helpful and sometimes it's not. So we have a process in our lives of discovering or releasing ourselves from that which is not helpful, that what I call our historic self, and that's the forgetting that I talk about. We get to not forget that you don't know it didn't happen, but it no longer has power over you. So I know this happens as we get to be an adult. We just say, well, that really doesn't work for me. I don't have the same fears or the same concerns, or I don't hold as valid that which my parents or my religion or my society said. Now, you can say that, and there's a codicil there. And the codicil is what you want to do life enhancing and life generating for you or for others? Or for others, because we aren't an individual soul. I know that, it takes a village to raise a child. We are not an island. So these experiences of being both an individual and as part of a group are sometimes pulling at each other, and you cannot not ignore your relationship to the larger group of which you are part of. And that's because I really sense that there's one human soul that we're all a part of, just sort of like the cells are all part of your body. And we all play a role in the functioning of that soul and the vibrancy of that soul. And if we, as an individual, do activities which destroy other human beings, destroy society, then the human soul suffers. We all suffer together. There's no ascendancy by yourself. It's not like, see you guys, I'm a good little girl or boy or man or woman, and I'm going to go heaven and you ain't because you just shit. It ain't going to work that way, or it doesn't work that way. It's sort of like when you heard about the butterfly in Africa affects the weather in the United States. It's the same thing about the human soul. So we have a responsibility for all of our lives to be here, to give the gift that we are to the world, to support that others are supported in giving that life, giving their gifts. And how does that happen? Well, in my workbook, every human being deserves food, healthcare, shelter, love. And in that, when they are sheltered in that way and held in that way and honored and respected for who they are and who they came here to be, miracles happen. You see an unfolding of them that you don't see if they have lived a childhood or even an adulthood of being ignored, of being told they're wrong, of being judged, of having to adapt to a restrictive society. I watch my grandkids, and I remember my own youth. I remember that of other kids in my classes. And this was a long time ago, guys. This is, 65 years ago. I remember grade school. So, and I watch my grandkids now, and a lot of things haven't changed as far as how society cares for its young, how it cares for its people. Just because people have different age or different skin color or different religion doesn't mean that they shouldn't be honored and respected for what they bring to the world. And the measure of that is it life enhancing, what we're doing for them? Is it life generating, what we're doing for them? If it isn't, don't do it. And that, I think, is the biggest weakness that we have, as certainly in the United States society at this point, is that some of what our governments are trying to do is create a world that is not life generating for others. And what some of our government people are trying to do is create a world that is life generating, life enhancing for others. And those are in a direct clash right now in our country. I see it in other countries too. And it's scary as hell. Because I know that if you say, yes, we are one human soul, whatever we do impacts the whole soul, then you're watching the whole soul lose its vibrancy. That the species as a whole is beginning to lose its vibrancy. And that's scary. Really, 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 really scary. But so there's a measure here. And I guess let me kind of define it. First of all, if you agree, or if you're willing to engage the idea that there's one human soul, then you start to see the impact of your actions on the whole, not just in your own life, but the actions, not just for you, not just for your family, not just for your local community, but the whole world. All of a sudden, all these things that are happening in the world make a big difference. Why are we endangering the human soul by the actions that we take or support? Can we say, each of us, that we've done everything that we can do to make sure that everyone in this world is taken care of? They're supported in being their, what I call, unique and essential selves. I believe that every human being came here for a reason. They came here to bring a gift. And it's horrible that we deny them that. We who are here, we who are their elders, deny each other or our children or our grandchildren, our descendants, that right. God help us. God help these babies that have come into the world to give their gifts. And we say we don't care. You have to do it our old way. And this has been true for thousands of years. I was reading a book recently about the Reformation, Protestant Reformation. And when that happened, and it was probably the 1500s, the 1400s, 1500s, the church had gotten, the Rome church had gotten into a stance of saying, well, our old ways are the only way to go. And then the Reformation happened, and people started saying, no, there's another way to do this. We can actually allow people to think for themselves and connect to the Bible. And the Rome church said, oh, no, we like this. Were they looking out for the people? No, they were looking out for themselves. And that's how they lost, ultimately, their control. But what they did in the meantime was they burned the heretics, thinking if I got rid of your body, then you cannot affect us. Didn't work. Then the reformists came in, and they became, in some ways, very, very strict, and trying to kind of go the opposite way to the Roman church at the point. And what did they do? They had to find somebody that they were against, that they were better than, that their rule and their idea of the world had to be dominant. So they burned the witches. 2,500 in Scotland. And then it came over the will become the United States, in Salem. But don't we do that still? We as human beings say, no, this is the only way, this is the only way, this is the only way, and the way to keep my way safe, my way going, because I think it's the only way, I believe it's the only way, or it's the only way I'm going to make money or power or whatever, is to kill others. To kill them. In the 1500s, they burned them at stake. They were nice. They strangled them first, but they burned them at the stake, thinking if I get rid of the body, I get rid of the energetics of it. And that's like, you can't. And it's hard. I think it's hard when we're faced with change. It's hard to say, maybe there's another way of viewing the world. It's hard to stand in your own belief and your own, first of all, you got to get yourself straight. And it's an inner sentient knowing. And I know that some people were so used to thinking in the mind and making the mind and the brain make those decisions. But to be really honest, the brain holds all the historic stuff. Your body, your sentient knowing is what will tell you what is life enhancing and life generating for you and then for others. So this process I call it like forgetting, unfolding and remembering. And the last part, the last two parts, unfolding is part of the forgetting, because once you are no longer triggered by or controlled by a belief system about yourself or about others, and you start looking at how do I act in a way that is life enhancing for me, life generating for me and for others, then you unfold in new behaviors, new ways to see to the world, a new perspective. It is in gaining these new perspectives and be able to step out of who you were. The Newfield Institute talks about that, about becoming the observer so that you can do new activities, new experiences in the world. That's the unfolding of who you came here to be. And what is that, who you came here to be? It's your spirit. Now, if you don't believe that there's a spirit inside of humanity, you probably will find my discussion here. And each, in my world, in my definition, is we are both physical and spiritual. Spirit. We are matter, and we are energetics. We are infinite, and we are finite. We have a life beyond this lifetime, but we came here to be in this physical form on this 3D world, to bring something to it that it didn't have. And all you can do is find that within yourself. And finding that within yourself is the greatest gift that you can give to yourself and to humanity, to your family, to your community, and to the human soul. And I call that your spirit. I think it's the one that partnered with your body to give the gift. I think that our knowing, my sense of knowing that conversation with your spirit is known through your sentient knowing. It's not a in my head thought. You may experience the energy of the great other dimensions that your spirit and your field guide, the other entities live in through your sentient knowing. But I believe it's your body, and that's my experience, knows what has a greater connection and communication with your spirit. So your spirit and body together talk to you through your sentient knowing. We know that your enteric nervous system, which has also been called the solar plexus, and your gut brain, is on 24/7 duty, and it reads more than what's going on inside your body. It reads what's going on in the field and informs your brain. 80-90% of the information that's conveyed from that through the vagus nerve to the brain is conveyed to the brain, but the brain only sends back about 10 directives, 10%, 15% directives to the body on how to respond. So parts of the body of how to respond. So it's an ongoing unfolding. It's an ongoing process. The questions are asked, is this life enhancing, life generating for me and for others? Is huge, is a constant process. And my hope is, and my experience is that as we age and as we attend to this, align with it, we get to know who we are in the world and we stand in it stronger. So we're not as bowled over by what others think, what others say we should do. We go, no, that's not for me. I don't see the world that way. Thanks very much. And the more people do this for themselves and for each other, the higher the vibration of humanity is, higher the vibration of the human soul, the greater chance that we can create the world that I think probably existed on Earth once upon a time, long, long ago. So I end this with that story. Once, long, long ago, there was paradise on Earth. And something happened and took away the memory of the people. So they forgot how to be who they came here to be. And they forgot how to love each other as their unique and essential beings. And they started thinking that they were separate, that they really couldn't help each other, that they had to do it for themselves, for their group. And they, just like the Tower of Babel, they forgot the common speech and couldn't listen to each other anymore. And my hope for humanity and for you is that you learn to listen internally to your sentient knowing, that you begin to act in ways that are life-generating and life-enhancing for you, and that you support policies and programs that make sure that everyone is cared for and honored and respected in their unique and essential selves, that we see all children, all peoples have shelter and food and love, and that we grow a better world and we come back to paradise, whatever that is. I wish you that. Thank you for you spending a few minutes with me, which I guess we're up to 18 minutes now. Take good care. Bye-bye.